少年ジャンプス。
Oh my god. Welcome back to Shonen Chumps, the only anime podcast on the gosh darn internet that features the three of us. As always, I'm Brennan.
I'm Sean.
I'm Dylan.
And if you didn't know what we do here, we watch anime and then we hang out and we talk about it. This week, we did not watch anime, but here we are to talk about something. And you know what that thing is. It's POKÉMON. Detective Pikachu.
Okay, guys, so as usual, if you're listening to us, you can talk to us and reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter. We're at Shonen Chumps on both. Or you can email us at shonenchumps@gmail.com. And obviously you can listen to us on YouTube or SoundCloud or Apple iTunes Podcast and Google Play, whatever.
Yeah, and if you do tweet at us and email us, like so many of you have, thank you for giving a fuck. Sometimes we'll do the shit that you recommend. Like our pal on Twitter, James, aka at BFL Griffin. What's up, man? Thanks for recommending that we do a Detective Pikachu podcast, because it was it's pretty obvious that we should, right? But it just didn't dawn on any of us until we saw that tweet and we're like, hey, we should do this.
Yeah, I guess Pokemon is so ubiquitous you forget that it's like Japanese.
It's
and
anime.
Also, yeah, there was an anime.
Yeah. So thanks, man. And thank you to all of you who send us suggestions and comments and queries and the like.
Yeah. We love it.
We love it.
Okay, so
I love it, yeah.
Dylan is still here.
Said anything, yeah.
Dylan's in shock. He's transfixed.
It'd be funny if, like, Brennan and I recorded this podcast, just the two of us, and then we sent the recording to Dylan so they can, like, interject his voice.
Jump in.
Right.
Jump in, yeah. That'd be funny.
Cut me in here.
You guys have pauses, and we record, like, oh, yeah. Like, you guys
Just
saying
B-roll,
things like that.
just reactions.
Just, like, catch-all phrase. I guess so. Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Yeah, this podcast is a lie. Dylan hasn't been here for months, guys.
I've actually been dead for a year.
Oh my god. Wow. This is
my
probably
opinions
really
have been-
scary for the audience, because they probably think that
They don't
everything
know.
we're saying right now was pre-recorded, and Dylan is just editing this over him talking to himself in a room.
From the grave.
Yeah.
Anyways,
If that is happening right now, yeah. Shit, I guess there would be no way to know. I was trying to come up with the joke, but yeah. I was going to say, like, I would drop in. I was going to, like, drop in, like, pretend to change my voice like I'm being recorded in a different room, but never mind. That doesn't make sense. Go on, Sean.
right. If Dylan is indeed dead, find his coffin. He's buried somewhere on Earth, and over the course of the next 30 minutes of this podcast, we will drop the numbers of the coordinates that you can find his corpse at.
Welcome to the Shonen Chumps ARG.
Okay, guys, so the patented way we start this podcast is me asking you to describe in one sentence what you felt about this anime. Pokemon Detective Pikachu, not an anime. Dylan?
Okay. Ken Watanabe is vastly overqualified to be in this movie. Period. That's like...
That's all you
That's
got.
not even me trying to be funny. Like, I just kept thinking that every time he was on screen. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing here? This is crazy.
A true king.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Love
of him.
that, man.
Go on. Sorry, Brennan.
My sentence is, wow, this was boring and dumb.
Whoa, I think that's the most negative Brennan's been on
Yeah.
the podcast in a sentence.
Holy shit.
It's really hard. I try to find the good in things, but here we are.
I wonder what your sentence was for Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
Two.
Oh.
Innocence.
I think I liked it.
Or
I liked Innocence.
What
It
was
was
that other
weird.
one that was not good?
The
I feel
Ancient
like we all
Magus
didn't
Bride?
like
The
the Ancient
Ancient
Magus
Magus
Bride. I
Bride.
wonder what Brennan said then. Let us know in the
back and
comments.
Yeah. Listen to our own podcast
Yeah.
and let us know.
Sean.
Shit.
Sean.
Honestly, I haven't really thought of a sentence, but what I'll say is that this was really, really boring. Like, way more boring than I expected it to be, and not just because it's a kid's show, or not just because it's meant for kids as a movie, but because it was just boring plot-wise, and it was convoluted for some reason. But, like,
Yeah.
weirdly convoluted, where, like, I understood what was going
Unnecessarily.
on, but it was also...
Just for the sake of being convoluted, it was convoluted. Dude,
It was almost like it tried to be deeper than it needed to be.
Right.
And yeah,
Thank you for finishing my sentence.
I think
Boom, there it
that's
is.
what you were getting
that's
at.
what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
He got it.
Yeah.
Dylan nailed
you.
it.
Yes, man. Okay, so what did you guys know about Pokemon before you watched this movie?
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Pokemon in general.
Strange franchise. It scares me.
Yeah.
I have no prior experience.
What
Just
I'll
kidding.
say is that I knew that a Detective Pikachu video game for the Nintendo 3DS
Yeah.
came out like a year or two ago.
Right, I remember
Like
that.
very close to the release of the game, actually. The release of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird because I went and I like watched a short video, I think on like IGN or something, about the comparison between the game and the movie.
Yeah.
And they're very similar plot-wise. Like,
Oh,
very,
are they?
Yeah, like they didn't just take the term detective and Pikachu and make a movie on
I
it.
kind of assumed that would have been it.
They pretty much adapted this game into a
think you
movie.
might have-
I respect that more.
Yeah.
You either sent that to our group chat or I encountered that on my own at some point because I read a headline somewhere, probably from you, that said like, oh, this movie is like good as a companion piece to that game. And I was
Right.
like, okay, interesting. This was before I had seen the movie. Now I think everyone who worked on the movie and the game should never work in anything again.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
Dude.
Ken Watanabe?
Except Ken gets a pass. Mr. Watanabe.
Not Ryan Reynolds.
Not Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
There will be no Deadpool 3. He is retiring. Effective immediately.
I think that when I saw this trailer for the first time, or maybe some stills. No, I think it was the trailer. Maybe it was a teaser or something. I think when I saw it, I didn't think it was a real movie. I thought it was like an incredibly well done, like fan made like trailer.
Right.
It's like, I mean, like the skill level, or sorry, like skills are democratized in terms of like being able to do like CGI and stuff, and like there are some amazing like fan made trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
of course.
on YouTube, and you're just like you can't believe it's like Star Wars stuff or whatever, and like,
Just, like,
wow,
various
this looks
video game
this looks
stuff even.
real
Yeah.
and
There's, like-
good. Like it feels so professional. So that's what I thought. It was like an
Right.
incredibly good trailer until I guess I heard Ryan Reynolds' voice, and I was like, oh, this is real.
You didn't believe that it could be like an impersonator?
No,
Do your best Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I know my Canadian.
You just reminded me,
Voice
like,
when I-
when the Uncharted series of games started, people said for like 10 years that the main character looks like Nathan Fillion, the
Right,
actor.
yeah.
And then, like, just like a year or two ago, Nathan Fillion made like a short film on YouTube where he played as Nathan Drake, and it was super weird.
Nathan Fillion made it though.
Well,
He
or
was
like he
in
wasn't
it.
the director, but he was the main character.
He was
yeah,
Nathan
yeah.
Drake.
But like,
yeah.
was it affiliated in any way with?
No,
Uncharted?
not, not officially
Oh,
at all.
that's
It was just a bunch of
interesting.
people that are in the industry making the fucking like
super
20-minute
interesting.
short. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been that exposed to Uncharted, but I have seen what the character looks like, and
Yeah.
he does look like Nathan Fillion.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to say though, I mean, it was clear to me right after the movie, and even more clear to me now that we're finally talking about it. Because, guys, actually, I don't know if our fans know this, but when we review movies and anime, but movies for the most part, we try not to talk about it at all before we get on the mic.
Right, yeah.
Because we don't want to share our opinions. We want to surprise each other. You know, definitely when we see movies, we tend to say a sentence, or we can just tell by the expression on each
Yeah.
other's faces.
Yeah.
But it's very clear to me that I enjoyed this movie way more than you two guys. And I'm
Yeah.
not even saying like I loved it or liked. No, I would say I liked it. Like I liked for what it was.
Yeah.
Like at work today, like someone asked me if I saw it, and they'd also seen it, and he said like, "What did you think?" And I said like, "It was okay," but I said it in that tone with a smile on my face, like not like it was okay. It was like it was okay. Like things are gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Like that kind of tone.
There's a future for Pokemon.
Yeah. So. Actually, I'm also going to share another story. I think I actually shared this on the podcast before, but who knows if anyone's listened to all our episodes besides the three of us. I hope you're out there.
Fuck.
Or maybe I shared this with you guys off mic. But when the first Pokemon movie came out, I'm sure you guys remember that.
Yeah,
it was such a
of
big deal
course.
in the theaters.
Right.
We went for my brother's birthday. I don't know how old I would have been, like 6 or 7, something like that. And my parents took my brother and his friends, and then me and my other brother to the movie. And my dad like disliked the movie so much that he actually like walked out of the theater for a little bit. And like I remember him saying he's like, I tried to give it a chance, but I just like couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
And now I'm on the other side of that, where I'm an adult watching Pokemon, and I would never like turn my back on Pokemon, but it was the movie was definitely like for kids, and I felt that throughout, and it was very apparent that it wasn't exactly targeted at me. Like, I guess it is, because there was a lot of nostalgia and even just kind of like throwaway lines that kind of reminds you of your childhood or things you said. Like, you're like, Magikarp sucks.
Yeah,
when you're
right.
like 7. But yeah, so it was very. So I liked it for what I was. That's what I'm trying to get here. Like overall, it felt kind of juvenile. But that's okay. I mean, yeah, like it's not going to be my favorite movie. I'm not going to necessarily like. I don't think I'd recommend this movie to like anyone.
Right.
Yeah. Loved Pokemon, or if you were like,
Hey, have you heard of this indie darling Detective Pikachu? You should really check it out.
or if you like worked in CGI or something, because like I mean that's one thing. I'd say Pikachu looked very good.
So
Yeah, like when I first saw the trailer, I thought this art style looked like complete shit. I thought that every Pokemon looked awful. But like after seeing this movie, like I get it. You
I
can't
don't-
just have like these
Okay.
Pokemon can't be like Roger Rabbiting it and looking like
So-
like 2D cartoon characters.
Right,
in this
yeah,
world,
and they
right?
and like so I don't know if I felt like every Pokemon in the movie looked so great, because I was constantly reminded like these are CGI characters. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
if you like watch Game of Thrones and you see a dragon, you're not actively thinking like this is CGI. You're just like, whoa, look at that dragon.
Right.
And I felt like a lot of times in the movie I was very aware that it was CGI, and maybe it's just because Pikachu's like the main character, so it's in a lot of the movie. Like I wasn't thinking about Pikachu being CGI. I thought Pikachu looked quite good, really. Like
Pikachu
I thought
looked
Pikachu
really
looked
good.
great, and I thought Mr. Mime looked really good.
But Mr. Mime's face was not like how I imagined his face in the
No,
anime, because his
not
face
at
in the anime
all.
is like much happier
It's
and
very
like
flat.
friendlier.
Yeah.
Even though everybody knows Mr. Mime is like a freak.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? Is that a person? I can't tell.
Yeah.
So
But like
Yeah.
that face in the movie looked like a little weird. It looked like they were trying
Yeah.
they were accentuating the creepiness.
Yeah.
In the
Actually,
movie.
I thought
So-
Mewtwo looked pretty good.
Mewtwo
oh,
looked good,
buddy.
but the Charizard looked like a really veiny penis. Like,
Yeah, I didn't think Charizard looked that good.
yeah. Jigglypuff, like I like how Pikachu is kind of a little bit furry because like whatever, he's a mouse Pokemon or whatever. But like Jigglypuff, that brief scene where she like makes the guy fall asleep at the cafe or bar or whatever. Like, why is Jigglypuff like a ball of fur? I don't know. And like,
I guess like what
should
would
she
it be? Just it would look weird if it was skin.
But shouldn't she be
Yeah,
more
what
like
is it, just
Kirby-like?
flesh?
Like, you know, Kirby.
what is Kirby,
But
if not a
Kirby-
ball of flesh, dude?
Yeah, flesh or like a rubberized texture. Like,
Yeah,
apparently,
like a
I
bouncy
saw
ball.
like Mr. Mime, his shoulders are like dodgeball texture. Like they have that
Right.
weird like
Rubber,
crisscross
yeah,
red
yeah,
rubber
yeah.
formation. So like,
grip.
if Jigglypuff looked like, I don't know, like one of those squishy balls that you squish, like a stress
Like a
reliever
stress
type
ball.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, that'd be interesting.
So
I guess
okay,
it's
also,
so,
Charizard didn't look so veiny.
so I've got like my sentence was that I fucking hated this. But, like,
was that your sentence?
in short,
Retroactive
in short,
Yeah.
what did I say? I don't even remember what I said.
I don't know. Whatever.
But
I think you said wow. Or
this was
something.
garbage.
Yeah, something
Yes.
like that, yeah.
So
Let us know in the comments.
yeah.
Go on.
So the thing is, like, I have multiple axes to grind with this movie, but that isn't from a place of like unearned hate. This movie has earned my hate. Now, here's why. It's because
So while Brendan said that, Sean just mouthed what to himself? Like really, really small mouth movements, but you're like you're trying to make sense of what Brendan said.
Sorry, it was my mouth movements were so small. What I actually mouthed was really.
Oh,
yeah, like, really a reason to
Yeah.
hate it. Yeah,
you know why? It's because I gave it a chance, and I feel stupid for giving it a chance. I feel
Like when
like
you go back to your ex.
yeah, I made a mistake.
break your
Except the
heart.
thing is,
Right.
Pokemon has never betrayed me until now.
Wait,
Maybe,
I found this really hard to believe, Brendan. There's been so many generations of games, and they've gotten like progressively shittier
Worse.
and shittier
Okay.
over time. And
To
like
be
probably
fair,
the anime has gotten progressively shittier.
I
over
haven't
time.
played any of the more recent games. I guess
Right.
after the last Pokemon game I probably played was Ruby, and I played all the ones before that.
Mm-hmm.
But I could live in a world where Pokemon is left in like fairly competent hands. I'm not a Pokemon head by any means. I know people who like Nintendo, Pokeheads,
Yeah.
if you will, who are really up on their shit, have varying opinions on whether or not the Pokemon franchise is being run into the ground currently or ushering in like a new era of like godliness. But I think like when I first saw the trailer for this movie, like most other people, I was like pretty put off by what I was looking at. And like I'm pretty sure you guys know this at this point. It's pretty widely known, but like the art that came out like a few years ago that depicted Pokemon as like realistic interpretations of Pokemon that got really popular and blew up. The guy who made that art was commissioned to work on this movie. So I'm pretty sure he did the concept for what became what we saw on screen as like the interpretation of Pokemon in the real world. And this is part of like a much bigger axe I have to grind with just CG in movies in general and just the direction Hollywood's going in terms of live action remakes when they take like Disney especially like the fucking like Beauty and the Beast and like all of those other like Disney classics that they took and made live action adaptations of. All of those stylistically, they go for like gritty and dark, and like they've been trying to do that and push this weird vibe that inherently clashes with what Pokemon is and the vibe that it makes. And like the reason that art took off in the first place was because it's so out of left field. It's so not the norm that it catches people's attention, and that's why it spreads so virally, is because people were like, oh wow, I've never seen this before. It's weird. It's uncanny. I don't want to look at this. It's kind of gross. I'm going to show this to my friends. And some fucking idiot bigwig asshole producer motherfucker in Hollywood with more money than he knows what to do with saw this and said, hey, this is what the kids like. This is going viral because this is what the kids are into, and this is how we're going to sell movies from now on. Every time we take something animated and adapt it into live action, we're going to make it dark and gritty and gross for no reason than just that in and of itself, just saying, oh, we're going to do this for the sake of doing this, and not putting any sort of thought or intent into the delivery and execution of the final product, which to me just looked like shit. I hated it.
So, like, what would you want the Pokemon to
Holy
look like?
crap.
Yeah, also, that was a crazy reference,
Brennan
right?
likes punk music. I hope that's clear. He's all about integrity. And I don't even mean this as a joke. It's like so when shit's not like genuine, Brennan cannot get behind it. I respect that. But I don't feel as strongly as you, but all of that's valid, of
Like,
course.
I can't see past the out of touch idiot with the money saying, this is a good idea, let's go ahead with this.
You know what's funny?
wait,
This
and it
literally
coming out
links
so
to
bad.
what we were talking about before we started recording. We were talking about Yeezys, and Brennan had a whole rant about Yeezys.
the Kanye
like-
West shoe
Yeah.
brand. Yeah. Wait, but Brennan, this is like an intensely faithful adaptation, and there's so many references in here that are like for Pokemon diehards.
But the thing is, okay. They're aesthetically, no. This is completely different. This is so new, but not in a good way. It's taking something that has nothing to do with what it is and shoehorning it into it for the sake of being quote unquote marketable. Because that's the meta for live action movies right now, is to have hyper realistic 3D grotesque stuff. Like, look at the Sonic movie that is in production currently,
Or like the Ninja Turtles.
The Ninja
With the
Turtles,
gross faces.
It's like,
Oh,
dude,
that really never should have
all
been
of
made
this
live
shit-
action. That's like a
Like,
big no-no.
it's an
Yeah, we all
undeniable.
know Michael Bay is like the spawn of Satan.
Yeah, it's like this is the trend that's happening right now, where for some reason
Sorry,
Hollywood.
I just remembered a moment where they were playing trailers before the movie when we saw Detective Pikachu together. And and there was this movie that came up, and at the end it showed the names of the actors that were in it in the trailer, and it said Josh Gad. And I said, never trust a movie that has Josh Gad in it. And Dylan just overheard me say that and started
God.
laughing. It's really good.
I
Anyways,
don't know what movie that
listener,
was,
just
yeah.
never trust a movie that has Josh Gad in it. Please. Brennan, sorry.
It's funny because he was also in Beauty and the Beast, which Brennan just cut down, so it's good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. See, there you go. Don't trust that man. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's a huge trend right now, and there's no reason for it. There is no reason besides the fact that it is popular because some idiot thought it would be.
Wait, but like, what do you want the Pokemon to look like in this movie? Like, if everything else looked the same in
Like,
the
are
live
you
action
s-
segments, like what? And like the color scheme
I
of the
think
movie.
he's saying
so-
there shouldn't have been a live action one because you can't faithfully reproduce what the
That-
Pokemon look like. It won't mesh. It's like
That-
putting a square in a circle.
and
I think
also,
that's unfair.
It's like, okay, but
Oh,
it's
wait,
like,
hold on.
I know.
I think that's what I'm getting from Brennan. I'm not sure.
well, first of all, like, if I could decide the world I lived in, this wouldn't exist. There wouldn't be a live adaptation of Pokemon. Sure, it does fulfill some kind of weird fantasy of like, oh, like what if they did
There'd
exist
be
in
a
real
live
life?
adaptation of Digimon. Just bring Digimon back, please, Hollywood.
Man. See, but the thing is, some of the designs of the Pokemon were unnecessarily grotesque. Like, you can't deny it. Like, Lickitung. Like, look at its mouth. Look at the texture of its tongue. Look at, it's just disgusting. There's
But, like,
so many
isn't
Pokemon.
that inherently
But
what
that's
they want
what
you to
it's-
feel about
'cause-
Lickitung?
No,
Like, it's
right, because
Lickitung.
it's supposed
Lickitung
to
had
look
some
somewhat
charm,
realistic.
dude. That's
but it
the-
has to look like it would exist.
like an animal. See, there's a weird line I think you can cross in terms of making things stylized. Like, if you've seen some of like the fan edits of Sonic where they took out his weird gross human teeth and they changed his body proportions a bit to seem less like Sean said earlier, a hairy child. Like, there's workarounds where you can put an animated character in real life without it looking like Space Jam. And I think they missed the mark completely aesthetically. But that's like the least of my worries, because holy fuck, the pacing, the acting, the point of any of this was like, I'm lost for words at how bad it was, dude. It was atrocious. The acting was so bad.
Except for Ken Watanabe. Go
Yeah,
on.
never
He was really good in that scene.
throw some respect
two scenes.
on the
I don't
name
know
of
if I
that
liked
king.
him in the movie.
I mean,
Well,
like,
he just played like a good police chief. He was like,
he
"Your
literally
dad was
said
the
two
best."
things.
It's like, I don't really like him in this movie, just like I don't really like him in that Godzilla movie from 2014.
Where he just
says,
looks at-
oh, it's
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And you're
I
like,
didn't see
okay,
it, but-
dude, we get it. That
So-
movie sucked.
The,
For the record.
That's funny because while we were watching Detective Pikachu, the trailer popped
the
up
next one, yeah.
for the next one, and then I just looked back at you guys and shook my head. Bad.
Wait, but that
Yeah.
trailer actually didn't look too bad. Anyways, we're not
Oh, it
here to
looked
talk
bad
about
to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to watch it, but it didn't look like a bad.
it didn't look
trailer.
nearly as
Yeah.
bad as
Oh,
some
man,
of the
it
other
looked
shit.
real bad to
But
me.
anyways, back to shitty actors.
Is Josh Gad in it?
The lead in this movie is completely pathetic in terms of delivery. It was
What's his first name again?
Justice
Wait, no.
Justice Smith.
The
Justice
character,
Smith.
though.
to Tim.
Tim Goodman?
Tim
Goodman?
Is it Tim?
Tim.
Can you Is it Tim?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
fuck.
telling you it's Tim.
Okay.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Tim the Toolman Taylor. So
Whatever that
his
song is.
acting was super stiff and awful. The female lead was also fucking terrible.
Wow.
Ryan Reynolds' performance was fine, but the thing is, it was everything like they gave away the best parts in the trailer, which is like kind of par for the course for anything. None of the jokes landed. I feel like you guys are.
I think some of the jokes landed, like the Magikarp stuff, or like
Yeah.
No, I feel like some of the stuff that's just being tongue in cheek and referential for the sake of being referential, but it's not actually funny to anyone. It's not even like a wink at the adults or something that's like actually good for.
Oh, I thought it was
kids.
both those things.
I mean,
Here's the
I
thing.
liked it when they were like
Yeah.
Magikarp. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, when they said like Magikarp sucks, and like no, but he evolves to Gyarados, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I remember
yeah.
that. Like
That's what they want.
Or, like-
Dude, that's the whole point. They're just nostalgia baiting you. They're like, remember this? And then everyone's
wait.
like, I remember that.
Wait a
It's like,
second. There was a
bruh.
new moment that was funny.
What?
My friend saw this movie like a week or something before. Why that really sounds like a humble brag. That's not what I was trying to make it sound like. Anyways, he saw the movie and he said there's one funny moment when they're in the coffee shop and there was that like weird, fuzzy, round-looking Pokemon.
And it just
that's
goes,
serving-
"Wah!"
Yeah, and it just goes like, "Wah!" And it says it's saying its name or whatever. I don't know what the fuck its name is, but that was a funny moment.
That wasn't that funny. I didn't laugh.
I don't think that
was
there's
funny.
an issue
That was cheap.
with. I don't think that there's an issue with it being self-referential.
No,
or
I
whatever.
think-
Because like honestly, like that is Magikarp's character. Like
Yeah.
if someone told me to use a Magikarp,
Yeah.
I would say Magikarp sucks.
But
And
it's
also,
such an old joke.
the
It's like, we
cutaway-
get it. We know Magikarp's stupid. It's a fish. All right.
But dude,
now what?
I haven't heard that joke in like 20 years, so it was okay to
Yeah.
hear it again. And just like the cutaway of just seeing Jigglypuff singing and a guy asleep, that made me laugh. Honestly, it made me smile. It warmed my heart a little
Dude,
because it took me back to my childhood.
That's
And
what they wanted.
They
It's not-
succeeded!
I would have liked that Jigglypuff moment if they didn't spoil it in the trailer.
Dude,
But
you
Right,
bit
see,
the
I saw
nostalgia
the
bait.
trailer once and I totally forgot about it. So seeing that, the Magikarp moment, there were just another couple like the time you actually hear Pikachu say Pika Pika, like it.
I don't think
I felt
nostalgia bait makes it good. I can't agree.
I mean, whatever, we can look at it through a critical lens. I'm talking about how it made me feel and how
Yeah,
it made
like
me feel
nostalgia
in that
made
moment.
moments of it good.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even like. Was it a good movie? I don't know.
Dude,
My thumbs up, or like whether my thumb goes down or up, it leans slightly up, but like not, like I said, I wouldn't really recommend
I
this.
was
If
struggling.
honestly, a kid would enjoy
man.
this movie if they like Pokemon.
Okay.
If you're
Yeah.
an adult and you like Pokemon as a kid, this
wait.
probably isn't for you. But I really enjoyed it, and those moments warmed my heart.
I want
It
to bring
did.
up like
It was
speaking
sweet.
of being
They
a
were sweet.
kid and then being an adult. I want to know like where you guys dropped off on Pokemon. Dylan, I think
You know where I dropped off.
You're
Sean.
you're a hardcore 150 Pokemon, right? Or 151? you know?
Yeah. Okay, so the TV show, I think I watched a little bit into like the next generation when they went up to 250.
Johto.
you
Yeah.
left after Tracy,
Johto.
yeah.
And that was like okay. I don't even know what that is, Brennan.
The guy who replaced Brock.
Okay, when Brock was taken out of the show, and then like I think there was a point where Misty was out of the show, I was like, this sucks, and it did. All right, Brock
Right.
and Misty, you can't break up the original trio.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, in terms of the Pokemon games, funny enough, I only played Yellow. So my brother got it for his birthday one year, and like, you know, when you have siblings, like everything becomes everyone's. So like we would just play. I would play Yellow constantly. Like the last time I played Yellow, I was probably I don't know, 20 maybe.
Shit, what?
Maybe, yeah, no, probably maybe 19 or 20. I definitely played it when I was like 15 again. Because like every now and then I would just come across it in my house. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to play this shit. Maybe about 20. I didn't like finish the game.
Right.
My friend lent me Sapphire when we were in like grade 8. And I played a bit of that. It was okay, but like it didn't, I didn't get the same feeling.
Right.
I didn't. So I guess if, for the most part, I'm a 151. I remember Chikorita Chikorita seemed cute, like a
Chikorita's
cute.
dope. That was
cool
my
Pokemon.
Chikorita's a-
Yeah, I liked Chikorita a lot. I liked when Ash had it, but like, yeah, the show really went downhill after that. So 151, I guess I'll say.
I'll say I'm probably a 350er.
Yeah,
So yeah, the first 3 gens. Although I do think that the Gold and Silver era is the peak of Pokemon.
That was
So
the ones
I'm-
right after Blue, Yellow.
Yeah.
because it had day-night cycles and all that shit. But I want to say I played Pokemon Red. I played a little of Yellow, but then I played Silver, Crystal, Sapphire, Emerald, and then I played Fire Red, which was the remake of Red
Right.
later on.
Yeah.
Was it
really cool.
150?
I
Or did they
think that
expand
one was
it?
just the same 150, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then I watched the anime until like Ash was at the end of like that 3rd gen, the Hoenn.
The end of his life.
As an old man.
Yeah, Pikachu has to put him out of his misery.
So I'm Brennan. Hi. I'm the exact same as Sean. We've played up to the same era of Pokemon.
I played a GameCube Pokemon game that was like not
Pokemon
Pokemon
Coliseum?
No, I think it was like it had like DX or something at the end of it, where you turned evil Pokemon into good ones again. It was shit. It was a bad game.
So,
anyways,
what have I played? So I'm in the exact same boat as Sean in that I think Gold and Silver is peak Pokemon. Gold was the first one I truly owned and played the shit out of, but I did play and beat Blue because
Okay, good. I was going to say, you got to play the original.
Blue, Gold, Ruby, and then
so we played exact opposite versions every time.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I didn't play the spin-off ones, like, well, not spin-off, but you know what I mean. Like, after the 2 come out, then the 3rd one comes out, like Crystal or Emerald.
Oh, yeah.
I did play Pokemon Snap on my cousin's N64, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Coliseum, and I think that was it.
Right.
But I did revisit Ruby as an adult.
Right.
Maybe when I was like 21 or 22.
So
or
Ruby
something
is
like
the
that.
remake of Red?
No, Ruby is the 3rd
Oh, no,
generation.
Ruby is the same one as Sapphire, which is what I said. But also, in that generation, you're not even Ash anymore. Like, you don't look
You
like
were
Ash.
never Ash, buddy. You were...
Yeah, you were just a guy who looked a hell of a lot like Ash.
You were
Red.
Yeah,
I know, but you looked a lot like... Who looked a lot like him. That's what I'm getting at. When I saw, like, my avatar, I'm like, ugh. I was disgusted that I wasn't an Ash-looking dude.
You know what's brilliant about the Gold and Silver era is that when you play through all the Johto region, you unlock
get to go Kanto? Yeah.
Brennan,
I don't know what that is. Go on.
It's okay. You go through Johto and then Kanto. Kanto is like the original region from Red and Blue.
Oh, cool.
And then you can face Ash. He's at like level 80 or whatever. He has his back turned to you, and you walk up to him. He turns around and he's Pikachu, and you can face him like with his lineup of Pokemon. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what? I think I remember like hearing that. I remember like
very
someone
sick.
telling me that. That does sound cool. Respect.
Yeah, the reason why I brought this up and asked you guys like where you were at with the stages of Pokemon is that there were some Pokemon in this movie I didn't know. Obviously, I know Greninja because it's from
popular.
like
it's in the
Smash
new
Bros
version.
and stuff. That's pretty much it. That's the only reason why.
Have you heard of that Smash Bros character,
Yeah.
Greninja?
But there was another Pokemon. Oh yeah, almost immediately at the beginning of the movie when they get to Rhyme City.
It's a stupid
which we
ape
should talk
thing.
about more. No, there's like a panda Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like,
I
this is
don't know
just a
what that is
fucking
either.
panda.
Yeah.
Especially with this art style. I'm like, I'm just looking at a panda right now. Like, there's no reason for this fucking Pokemon to be here.
Yeah, I didn't recognize all of them. But wait,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I recognized even less than you guys, but it did lean more 150, I think.
Yeah,
they stuck to the ones that had the most like traction amongst fans. Like people would be able to recognize and be like, "Oh, Psyduck, I know his characteristics.
Right, yeah.
He's dumb and funny." But yeah, one more thing I wanted to say regarding just like childhood and Pokemon and this.
Brendan can't even say the name of the movie
This
anymore.
thing. We were talking about the original Pokemon movie earlier, and like I was thinking about this earlier today, actually. The first Pokemon movie was life-changing for me. As a child, that was like... It was like a fucking solar eclipse. I didn't know what to make of it. Dude, getting Mewtwo as like a card, like a promotional card, or the Mew card, buddy. It's like... Thinking about how much Pokemon meant to me as like a fucking 6-year-old, and then having a movie that created such a level of hype for me that my tiny head would fucking explode with emotions, watching Ash turn to stone and Pikachu cry over his body. Buddy! I feel like not to sound like a crotchety old man, but the kids of today will never have that. Partially because Pokemon isn't nearly at like the peak that it was in the 90s when we were consuming it, but it makes me so sad that the closest thing that they get in terms of like a movie version of Pokemon, even if like the anime isn't on TV anymore, even if it's not like a part of kids' daily lives anymore, Pokemon Go kind of fell off and, you know, all of that, it's not such a big thing. The fact that this is what they get, and this is what they get to go to the theater with their mom and dad and like watch, like it's disgraceful. It's disgusting. It's an abomination to the name of what Pokemon could be and what it meant, and it sucks.
I have counterpoints. Okay, so counterpoint number 1. The first Pokemon movie that's apparently very good, and I guess like people cry over it or whatever, is currently being remade in 3D animation so that everybody can rewatch it. So children will be watching that. That's possible. It's probably going to fucking suck balls.
It's not going to look as good.
Yeah, because it's 3D.
Exactly.
Yeah. I forget my other points. What were we talking about?
The Pokemon movie.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump in and say that to some degree, it's always like that, right? Like, parents will be like, back in my day, you know, we had this and it was better, right? And like, you know,
yeah, it's such a standard thing, but at the same time, it's like, man.
It's also never going to compare, just like you saw that as a kid and it filled you with wonder. Now you're an adult who knows about the world.
But the thing is,
and has had his dreams crushed already.
I
used to dream about being a Pokemon trainer. Now I know that's just fantasy.
I can observe as like a third person. I can sit here on the sidelines and see something that's made for children and say, this is something good. Regardless of whether or not it's aimed at me, I can tell that for what it is, it's good. And I don't think this is good as a kid's movie either. Because it misses any kind of emotional like landing that it tries to stick, basically. There's no takeaway from this. There's no feeling of resolution because the plot and the pacing is so convoluted. Dude, I fucking was struggling to stay awake because of how prolonged this is. If this can't keep my attention, do you think it's going to keep a kid's attention?
Wait, isn't the takeaway that like everybody needs a partner?
Is that the takeaway? Holy
I don't know.
fuck.
His dad came back. Also, Pikachu's there.
Man, there was so much unnecessary
movie,
fucking
Tim's
lore.
gonna have a Pokemon.
Dude, there's so much nonsense about, like, people in Pokemon can be blended together with the power of Mewtwo that they just kind of shoehorned in at the end, and it's like, and that's why his dad was inside Pikachu the whole time, and it's like...
So this is a good topic. Why did the evil guy want to put everybody else into Pokemon and not just be himself and Mewtwo?
Fuck, I don't know, man. Some kind of weird human instrumentality project? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, see, that was weird because they didn't really explain his motivation for that. Maybe he just wanted to make everyone like him, but it was very shoehorned. So I think we've been kind of just like dancing around different parts of the movie or how we felt, but let's dive into the plot because we've been talking about how it's convoluted. So in broad strokes, I mean, we're in the Pokemon universe. Pokemon exists just like, I guess, animals. Have they taken the place of animals? Are there animals that people eat also? I don't know.
There's just Pokemon.
Do people eat? What do people eat?
Pokemon.
Pokemon?
There's entries in the Pokédex that say that they're good to eat. Like, Farfetch'd? Farfetch'd like carries around that stick.
Delicious.
Yeah, that leak. Yeah. You're supposed to eat them together. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's also fucked up how people eat animals.
So Tim Goodman is our main character, 21 years old, and he works in insurance. He used to dream of being a Pokemon trainer, but he could never catch a Pokemon. Mm-hmm. He has a strained relationship with his father. His mother died when he was young, and his father is a detective working in Rhyme City, and so he grew up with his grandmother. And I guess he hasn't seen his dad in a few years. Like a while, it seems like. I don't know. He gets word that his dad died while working on a case, and he goes to Rhyme. And that's when he meets our Detective Pikachu, and starts on this whole thing that
Yeah.
you know, maybe the dad isn't dead, and they have to figure out what happened to him. The movie actually opens up with the scene of Mewtwo breaking out, and then I guess seemingly attacking the car driving away.
Yeah.
Man,
Right?
yeah, there's a few things I want to bring up about the beginning of the movie. Do you know, like, when Tim's friend, the, like, Indian dude, is trying to convince him to catch a Cubone? That Indian dude, I believe, is the same, like, taxi driver
in
from the Deadpool movies.
Yep,
Yeah. That Ryan Reynolds connection. Just, bring him along.
Nice.
Ryan Reynolds is assembling this team of people like fucking Wes Anderson.
Yeah, he's
gonna have
also
all his
in
movies.
Safety Not Guaranteed. Not that that has anything to do with this, but
That movie was really good.
yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe I was just surprised by it, so I liked it more than...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so we know there's a conspiracy theory or something going on with Mewtwo. We know that Harry, that being the name of Tim's father, he is presumed dead, but he might actually be alive. And he was investigating something going on out in that lab.
Right.
So I like the world that they sort of started to build with
The
Rhyme
setup
City.
is good. Yeah, the setup's good.
See, that's the thing. I went into this movie completely open to giving it a chance. I was ready for it to be good in the way that, like, okay, sell me on the world, sell me on, like, what Pokemon's place is in, like, your society that you're presenting to me. And it's like, okay, so Pokemon battles exist in the outside world, but not in Rhyme City. So it is essentially dog fighting, more or less, which is why in this one city it's outlawed and there's like a secret underground ring for that, kind of like some weird Fight Club shit. So it is a little bit fucked up in that way.
Even though in the lore of Pokemon is that they enjoy fighting.
Right. Yeah. That's how they kind of get away from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting.
Shit, I've never made the connection to dogfighting. That's fucked up.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't?
I've never.
Dude.
Or maybe
Yeah.
I have and I just pushed it.
You've
out
just
of my brain. I
you've
don't
just
know.
buried it.
Yeah.
Seeing that, like, Pokemon enjoy fighting is like something you read in a 200-year-old history textbook and you're like, yee.
Oh,
did they?
pull the collar,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not sure if they did. But yeah, that was cool. I like that they at least tried to make it make sense in the way that, oh, like, Pokemon and people live in harmony and everyone has a job and whatever. But, like, yeah, like, right now you're outlining the plot and it's like, so far, like, I'm with you, and I feel like if this was delivered to me better, I would have been with you in the theater, but, like, god damn, the acting was so lackluster that even though, like, you're, like, it sounds so compelling, right? This kid who has issues with his father, and he's raised by his grandmother, and he wanted to be this, and he's stuck in a dead-end job, and, like, all of this stuff that should be relatable to people even our age, because this guy is in his 20s, apparently, even though he looks fucking 14. It's like... You would think that with all of this fodder, all of this ammunition to fucking lay into my emotions, that it would a little bit. But it's just so campy in its delivery, like the specific acting on the part of the lead. He just fucking blew it, dude. I didn't feel shit for him.
That's interesting.
Every single time he opened his mouth, I was like, shut the fuck up, you idiot. I don't care.
Like, I didn't think the acting was that bad. Like, it was, like, fine.
It was atrocious.
Like, it wasn't, like, a serious enough movie or a funny enough movie that acting mattered that much.
Exactly. And
No,
the
no,
mediocrity drove me crazy,
But I'm
man.
saying, like, it wasn't mediocrity. It was just like, yeah, like, it's passable. Like,
Yeah.
they definitely didn't need to recast. Like, I just felt like that
Ryan
was fine.
Reynolds
I think,
good as Pikachu? Like, acting-wise. Maybe not voice. It doesn't matter with the voice right now.
Well, okay, that's kind of hard to say because he's not playing a Pikachu that we know. He's
playing himself.
a new,
he's playing
yeah, it's
like
he's Ryan
he's
Reynolds
playing like just like a wise
in a
cracking
Pikachu suit.
Ryan Reynolds, right? So like, was he good? Yeah. Was he funny? Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like,
That's a question of
I
do
don't
you
know.
like Ryan Reynolds?
yeah,
The answer
yeah.
is,
That's honestly
I
what
like
it is.
Ryan
If
Reynolds.
you like Ryan Reynolds, that's the
Right.
answer, right? And yeah, I know I didn't find Justice Smith too bad. He was like fine. You wouldn't be like give that man an Oscar, and you wouldn't give him a raspberry either. You just somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And that was fine. I think really what the issue is the plot, the fact that it was so convoluted, and pacing. Yeah, because I mean the setup's good, and honestly, I was with it in the setup. Like when he got to Rhyme City, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, and like. Even just like walking through the streets, you see Pokemon doing jobs. I was like, okay, like this is interesting. Like I've never seen like a Pokemon world, like a story like that where they're just like they coexist. So I was like, okay, I'm interested. And so it's where it falls apart. Where I guess maybe it's trying to be too many things to too many people because it's trying to be fun and kiddie, but they try to do probably too like. Deep, like in quotes, of a plot, like by making it like a conspiracy theory and like this kind of like noir-esque tone where also, they're like investigating and they're going around the city.
It's really hard for me to accept that death exists in the Pokemon universe. Like people be dying and shit.
They only
in the Pokemon universe. Yeah, man. I'm not ready to accept the fact that Pikachus die.
That really upset me early on that we see like policemen quickly like walking by in a shot when we're introduced to Rhyme City and they're not like all Officer Jennies.
Yeah. What the fuck?
That was a little weird to me.
Where are the Nurse Joys?
All be Jennies. Yeah. Actually, that's pretty funny. That would have been a nice like tidbit.
Yeah.
But that was also weird that all the officers are the same. So, I mean, that's not right. Okay, whatever. That's a question for the anime. Okay, so Tim meets the Pikachu who kind of who has amnesia, and so they piece together. They think that okay, well, if the Pikachu thinks like, oh, well, I was your father's partner and I survived that crash, therefore your father must be alive, and so we need to figure out what happened. Yeah.
And so let's just skip and say that like the Pikachu is his dad, is Tim's dad. It's Harry.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. It's weird that like nowhere along that journey is that like the spark is never lit in Pikachu's mind and he never thinks like, oh, maybe I am Harry, or like remembers his relationship to his son in any way.
Why did his son never recognize his name or his voice?
Yeah. Like, wouldn't he know his dad's voice?
It's like, what the fuck?
I guess it's been like 10 years. Yeah. It could be like 10 years since they've seen each other.
This guy is so checked out, though, that he wouldn't recognize like his dad's sense of humor or anything like that either. Like this kid is apparently 21, right? So he was 11 when he last saw his dad. You can remember your dad if
also,
you see him at age 11. Also, it's weird because
it's not just like Ryan Reynolds did not just take over Pikachu's body. They were like a merged being.
Yeah,
like their consciousnesses were together. That's why Pikachu still cares about like Tim afterwards. Dude, at the end of the movie.
I also don't like that Pikachu just becomes like a mute idiot. And it's like, back to being a rat, back to being a fucking animal again after he leaves his body, kind of thing. Like,
I think
he says Pika and hops away.
Right, but I think like they said like Pokemon can understand each other. And they can understand how you feel. It's like how you have a dog, I guess, but a bit smarter.
Right. So they, like, know Pikachu was like gesturing like a person and dancing around and like doing all this funny shit just because it was possessed by the soul of his dad. Is that what that is? And then after his dad becomes his dad again, like it's back to hopping around on all fours and acting like an animal. Is that what's up?
I don't know.
Will Pikachu dance again?
If you think too many thoughts.
Pikachu did not gain extra consciousness by having a human joined inside of him, I guess. Like, right? Like, he just reverts back to being himself after Ryan Reynolds exits the body.
It would be cool if Pikachu just was
just floating around in the ether, like just kind of viewing.
I think they might have been a joint celestial being,
right? Yeah,
for that period of time.
I think this is too deep. We're asking too deep questions. So what
I don't think we are, Dylan. I think Detective Pikachu has forced us to this place.
I just want to bring up the point. Like, how does Tim understand what Pikachu is saying just because it's his father's soul?
Yeah,
understand the words.
I was thinking about that today. Yeah, like he gets to understand him, but like no one else can.
It's not like when my dad's in his human body, I can like telepathize with him.
Yeah, they're having psychic conversations, like touching spirits. No.
Yeah, that's definitely like something that we need to remember, that this is like a kids movie, so it's like the power of love gives them the the reason to communicate.
that's
Some shit like that.
fine, but
I
it's
do
like-
agree that like any good kids movie is good to everybody, including adults. I
Yeah,
do just think
yeah.
that, but I'm cutting this movie slack because it is a kids movie. That it doesn't have to be good to me in every way. I guess.
Yeah,
The thing
like,
is,
I
though-
mean, you have to allow for like leeway. You can't.
Right, no, but that's the thing. I'm not looking at it as something that's supposed to appeal to me. I'm looking at it trying to be as objective as possible and saying this is missing what it's trying to do. Like, I don't think that this even lands as a kids movie, because I think even like as banal as it can get, I think it's too far. I think it's too much. You've got to sell, like, a kid isn't an idiot. Like, children aren't stupid. They need something. And I feel like there's so much nothing in this movie. So much nothing. I feel like even like the little plot that is carried along through these vast expanses of fan service and just like CG fuckfest, like, it's so sparse and it's so thin. It's like, give me some more meat. You can make a good kid's story and have it be substantial. You can pace it right. You can play to the strengths of like a kid's psyche and how they ingest media.
I have
And
a major
don't think this
complaint.
movie does this.
My major complaint has to do closer to the end of the movie when they show that like the assistant to the main evil man who wants to become Mewtwo is a Ditto and can like shapeshift and stuff.
What?
I don't really have a problem with the fact that he can turn into a human. I just have a problem with the fact that the only explanation Ditto gets, and Ditto is perhaps the coolest Pokemon that's ever existed,
Right.
cooler than Mewtwo, because
it can
it's a
be
failed
Mewtwo.
attempt at being Mewtwo, is that they're just like, oh yeah, that thing, that's a Ditto, that's like a lab experimentation. They just brush it off, leaving off like there's like many Dittos being created by this like lab corporation trying to create a clone of Mew. They're like all these different attempts at creating Mewtwo. That's what each Ditto is. It's like,
is that what Ditto is in,
Yeah.
in the lore?
Yeah.
Like
In the lore of the original games, yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, what, like, you're not even going to touch on this? We're not going to go there? We're just going to glide
Yeah.
past it like he's just a Ditto that pushes this man around in a
Like,
wheelchair? Like,
look,
what?
I'm all for Deus Ex Machina. I'm fine with Mewtwo being able to zap everyone out of their bodies and exercise the human souls out of the Pokemon and all that bullshit. Fine, whatever.
Yeah, why does he have soul powers?
He can bring.
He's a clone. Shouldn't
Yeah.
Mew have those powers and
He
not
can-
Mewtwo?
He's
He can
dead,
Medusa the shit out of people. He can bring them back to their human form. He can do whatever. That's fine. But as soon as you fucking show me a character who I barely remember because their importance to the overall plot of this movie and their weight as a character is virtually non-existent throughout this entire thing, and you go, oh, they were a Pokemon this whole time. I don't give a shit. And neither does anybody else watching this movie. It's a Deus Ex Machina that doesn't even fucking land, bro. Like, why? It's just unnecessary.
Right.
It's all unnecessary.
Right. Well, I think the reason for that was just to show that the son wasn't the bad guy, and the
so
son
he
was
can be a
actually, like,
good
locked
guy
up.
at the end of the day and be like,
Yeah.
I'm here to fix the problems
Yeah.
after the fact. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Sins of
it's
the
like,
father.
yeah,
Because they do kind of like a bait and switch, and then
Sure.
another switch, because they're like, oh, the old man is a good guy and the son's the bad guy. Like, we're
Right.
talking about the
Right.
the
Also, it was
rich people,
interesting
and then-
how they had a babyish attempt at including some sort of father-son dynamic on both the good side and the evil side. Two evil dudes
oh
and two
my
good dudes,
God.
somewhat. I want you guys to know two things. Apparently, in the video game Detective Pikachu, Mewtwo does not have the ability to do all this soul bullshit.
Sure.
Apparently, that's
yeah.
not a thing. He doesn't manipulate souls at all and put them in bodies. Also, at the end of the game, Tim does not find his father. He's just still teamed up with Pikachu, and I'm pretty sure that Pikachu's not his dad in the game. Yeah. Anyways,
Well,
that's a thing.
that's nice. That's good to know.
I just want
I
to quickly
feel like-
bring this up before I forget. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, if they had chosen to make it that Pikachu isn't his father in this movie, that would have allowed them to make more movies.
Yeah, I'm
Now
wondering
they
why they
can't
didn't
make
do
more
that.
movies.
Yeah.
Because it would just be like, I don't want to watch Ryan Reynolds hang out with his son.
Right. But maybe they're just opening the door for like other live action movies, maybe in the same city or just maybe in this world.
Other characters.
And they're just like, hey, this movie's just getting you used to this art style.
Right.
And
Christ, no.
And
Oh,
world,
man, I fucking hope not. I really hope this is just a phase and everyone gets some better fucking art direction going and just, you know, just pull your fucking pants up. You're a mess, Hollywood.
So Pikachu in the video game sounded a lot like Danny DeVito, which is why when Ryan Reynolds was cast in this movie, everyone was a little upset.
Right.
Or maybe not everybody, but it's like, hey, why don't we just get Danny DeVito to fucking play this character? And apparently they tested that, like, with lines. Danny DeVito from, like, It's Always Sunny, they put an animated Pikachu's mouth to it, and it just didn't work for them, I guess. But, like, I don't know, I would have loved that in the movie. The only part that would have thrown me off is at the very end when Ryan Reynolds is revealed and he's like the hot dad in the cool jacket.
Danny,
and if it was Danny DeVito, but like Danny DeVito has the capacity to be a really good actor and be like a good dad. It'd just be like he'd be like 20 years
bizarre.
Probably too old.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a weird little goblin man walks out of the shadows. I'm your dad.
Yeah.
Like,
it would be a little fucked up. But like it'd be so good as Pikachu, you know?
yeah.
And that would like also mask the fact that Tim can't recognize his own dad's voice.
It's like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. And like and at the end of the movie when Pikachu comes out of nowhere and he's like, Pika Pika, it's in fucking Danny DeVito's voice.
Oh, yeah, Pika Pika.
He explains it because the voice box of Pikachu is fucking Danny DeVito.
Oh my goodness.
That'd be so good. But Dad is still Ryan Reynolds.
That would be, yeah. Apparently there's like enough, or according to Ryan Reynolds, there's enough B-roll and like ad-lib footage of Ryan Reynolds saying awful shit as Pikachu for there to be like an R-rated cut of Detective Pikachu.
I'm also sure that it's not that funny.
Probably not, just like everything else in this movie.
I'm not implying that they cut it out of the original movie because it wasn't funny. They probably just cut it out because it wasn't safe for children.
Yeah, of course.
But like, I doubt it's funny.
Yeah,
I just doubt it.
It's probably not.
Yeah,
it's probably not. But that's maybe the closest to a Danny DeVito-esque Pikachu that you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
It exists on a hard drive somewhere.
Don't we all? Oh, God.
And with that...
what else is there to say about this movie?
So, like, going back to the plot, I want to talk about where it starts to get muddled. And that's, like, so they think that the dad might still be alive. And so they connect with that the girl who wants to be a reporter or whatever, like because she was
Misty.
like finding a clue, and she says like, oh, she discovered
Literally
that
has a side
Harry had been to the Rhyme Wharf once, so they go there looking for clues and they find Mr. Mime. And, best scene in the movie, by the way, them interrogating Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime?
I love that scene. It was so much fun, dude.
It was totally blown in the trailer.
Shit.
Right.
I couldn't laugh at a single thing.
You keep forgetting that I forgot the trailer existed entirely. Like, I don't remember anything from the trailer. So seeing Mr. Mime do the miming and stuff, it was funny. There's something there.
Yeah, I think there was something there. But, like, I don't really like that scene, and it was spoiled by the trailer.
Dude.
But I'm trying to compare it to any other scene in the movie, and nothing's really standing out.
Right, yeah.
Like,
That's the best scene in
here's
the movie.
Seeing...
Or Ken Watanabe just being like, your dad was the best.
you know, it might have been best for me to see Charizard, like, freaking the fuck out, even though he did look like a veiny penis. Like, it might have been good in the
So
long run
gross,
to see
man.
that.
Okay, so...
See, the thing is, about the Mr. Mime scene and just everything given away in the trailer, it felt like someone saying an unfunny joke twice. It's like they said it and you kind of chuckled a little bit, and then they say it again, and you're like, I heard you. We're good, bro.
Right.
That wasn't funny. That's how I felt.
Okay,
But anyways.
So they go to Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime tells them that that R drug or whatever, like that it came from like the underground fighting, and that's when they go to the underground fighting. And then after the whole Charizard battle or whatever, that dude Sebastian said, like, he reveals that he got the R from the doctor.
Right.
The doctor, in quotes. And so that's like where I guess the connection comes all the way back to the Mewtwo, is that these people were creating this R drug while experimenting on Mewtwo. Or no, from Mewtwo, I think they created the R drug. Yeah.
Some shit like that.
And I think it was because the old guy, what is his name? Howard or something? Yeah, Howard Clifford, yeah. He was trying to, like, cure himself, and so he ended up settling on becoming Mewtwo And
Yeah, the
then
guy
I
who
guess-
made the city. The guy who
Yeah.
fucking made the city.
Yeah.
How is there just a guy that a city spawns forth from? I don't. Fuck.
This is like maybe the one time throughout this podcast that I find it really. That point is very funny, Brennan.
Tell me
There's just
how.
one man that a city started building itself around.
He's like, I'm the center point. Spawn forth. Rise from the ground, civilization.
Whenever you ride a train to the city, it shows literally Egyptian hieroglyphics and then this man who created the city. Like, that's the two
I'm
things you're shown on a video.
Done, dude.
That
really
actually,
funny.
that reminded me, that was really funny where they said, like, humans have always had Pokemon by their side, and then it shows, like, Egyptian, like, stone carvings, and then
Yeah.
it shows Pokemon beside them.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
And they show like more regular Pokemon, not like Ekans or like Arbok on like
Yeah.
a hieroglyphic. I feel like that would fit more in.
Yeah.
They show like a Bulbasaur or some shit. I don't even know.
That was really funny. That's like, because I was like, yeah, I'm imagining a world where Pokemon always existed,
Yeah.
and like a real
Yeah.
world.
But it would have been cooler if they showed the ancient Pokemon from like pterodactyl or whatever.
Oh,
Is that what
yeah,
it's called?
Aerodactyl.
Aerodactyl, yeah.
Yeah.
And Kabuto.
Yeah, those like
Kabutops,
the fossil Pokemon, like that would have been
Ammonite,
sick. dude, if they
Amistar.
showed that.
Yeah, that would have been smart.
I have a quick question though. Like, how do you guys feel about this this movie being made? Essentially, is like, hey, did you want Pokemon battles? Because like that's not what we do here.
No.
This is like a non-battling Pokemon movie.
Not even
I don't
mad.
know if I would have enjoyed Pokemon battles.
Yeah.
I'm not even mad.
I don't think I would have enjoyed Pokemon battles.
You know what? I'm open to a universe where Pokemon means something beyond getting them to kill each other.
Right.
But also fucking just execute it well. Get some competent writers, get some competent artists, and just make it something worthy of the name Pokemon on it. That's all I want.
Shit. It's very interesting considering that like probably the Pokemon anime and the Pokemon movies and the Pokemon games have all been like on a steep decline for 20 years. Becoming worse.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I meant. That's what I mean, yeah. Did I say something wrong there?
No,
I feel you guys
no,
are just
no.
staring at me.
No.
Like, what happened?
No.
I thought, wait, no,
Okay.
I'm not, what's the point you're making?
Oh, just all of Pokemon is going shit. So when you were saying that, like,
that
it should
it
earn the
needs-
name of being Pokemon, I'm like, well,
Right.
Pokemon has started like
Not
sucking
good?
more and
Okay,
more.
yeah,
For
sure.
like the past.
But I
15
mean,
years,
is
yeah.
this the bottom? I don't want to see it go further than this. I'd rather just peace out from Pokemon altogether if it's gonna get worse at this point.
Have you not pieced out from Pokemon at this point?
Well, sure, but like not to the point. Like we went and we watched it.
True.
I gave my money to the guy, and I watched the movie.
This is like in an alleyway.
Hey, you want to watch some Pokemon?
I'm the guy. Oh god.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously you hear the murmurings of what's going on in the Pokemon world, and you see the car keys Pokemon and the ice cream Pokemon,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh Jesus, what the fuck?
Right.
But then also
That exists still.
there's a
There's a car keys Pokemon.
it's real.
Stupid. That's why I like 150, bro. Go on.
But like the thing is, I feel like there is hope for Pokemon. Pokemon can be good. Pokemon could be good. But here we are. And there we go.
Are you saying we're in the worst timeline?
I think we're in the darkest timeline, my guy.
Okay, so I think I definitely liked things about this movie. I just want to say that. I liked when Pikachu makes fun of Psyduck. That was good. Some good commentary in the backseat of that car.
Yeah,
You guys
that was
remember that?
funny. Yeah.
Pikachu saying, like, I'm in a baby seat and this guy's going to explode or whatever the fuck. That was interesting. Psyduck just being Psyduck, grabbing his temples on his head. That's interesting. Etc. Some good shit there.
If he didn't look like a bloated tennis ball, I might have given him more of a shit.
Sure. Yeah, it's weird that they overpowered Mewtwo.
He has teeth.
Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
You're welcome.
Does he still speak, like, telepathically? Like, his mouth
Yeah.
doesn't move? But
No,
when the human...
he flaps his mouth
when the
around.
human is in him, he moves his mouth.
Yeah, that was gross
makes
as
sense.
fuck.
When the human's not in him, he speaks
Was he speaking-
telepathically.
okay.
That's cool.
I'm asking
That makes
you, I'm
sense.
not telling
No,
you.
I
Is
think
that what
that's
happens?
how it was. Yeah.
Ugh. They should have cut that.
You know, it's
entire
really weird
sense.
how, like, Pikachu gets hit by a rock. Like mountains are collapsing because they're on top of those like fucking turtle Pokemon or tortoise Pokemon, whatever. And then a rock, like a pebble, comes out of nowhere, hits Pikachu in the head, and Pikachu's like passed out and about to die. Right? Remember this?
Yeah.
And Tim like speaks to a Bulbasaur and he's like, "Find me a healing Pokemon," and they do, but they find him fucking Mewtwo. It's like, how did these like natural Pokemon in the environment know that an unnatural Pokemon like Mewtwo is here? Like, I understand if they know that like a certain type of Pokemon lives in this area, let's get the Pikachu healed by this Pokemon. But Mewtwo is just hanging out here for 5 minutes. How do you even know that he's here?
No, probably that's probably where Mewtwo had been hiding
base? You
this
think
whole
it's like
time.
his own base? Yeah,
it's his
okay.
cave. But also it's like,
I see.
I don't like how they present him as like a god of Pokemon or something, like some sort of omnipotent fucking master Pokemon.
Right.
What, there's actual literal god Pokemon now in the canon.
That's true.
And it's acknowledged in the movie because like at that stupid asshole his desk, he's literally got statues of the god Pokemon or whatever.
It's insanely dumb that there's god Pokemon.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
fuck.
pretty
150, bro.
I mean, like, what do you
Before the gods.
What do you do when you hit Super Saiyan 4? You gotta go Super Saiyan God, bro.
That's true. I mean, I don't even know if those are canon on the same timeline, the God and the Super Saiyan.
You know what I'm
but I guess
talking
what you're talking
about.
Yeah. Shit. I thought that movie was okay. 6 out of 10 or something like that.
Yeah,
for
I'd
me.
probably give it 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
That was fucking garbage. 6 out of 10.
Shit. Brendan has rendered our scale meaningless. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have closing thoughts?
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to think about other things to comment on the movie. I didn't really get through talking about the plot, but that's okay. Just like, I think maybe they showed their hand too early by revealing Mewtwo in like the first shot, because Mewtwo's kind of like,
Or the second trailer?
right. I didn't see the second trailer.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so I didn't know. I will say I like the setup, and then it got pretty muddled, just like kind of unnecessarily complicated. I guess like they were like, "Oh, your dad's dead," and they're like, "No, he's not dead. Look at," and then these like the detectives like, "Look at this footage. He's dead." And then this Howard is just like, "Well, somehow I've recreated a holographic like." From all views, you can view the footage, which doesn't make any sense. That was maybe the biggest problem I had.
Yeah.
That's what I was wanting to get to. Is like, he's just like, well, the police may have footage, but I have footage from every perspective.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Every perspective except for the dad's face perspective.
Yeah, except for the dad's face. And maybe I've like doctored it so that you can't see that Mewtwo actually didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then so then they were like, first off, actually that's another thing. The detective's like, no one could have survived that explosion. Dude, the Pikachu's right there. We know the Pikachu is with him.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
God damn. And then so then Howard's like, oh no, look, so your dad might be alive. And then it turns out to all be a trick, which, I mean, I saw coming. It's like the old guy who seems like a good guy who built this city. You're like, yeah, that's the bad guy. I know that's the bad guy.
Right.
And then they made it seem like he's not the bad guy. And you're like, oh, okay, I doubt that, but maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're placing the blame all on the son. And then it turns out the son was a ditto, dude, for a chunk of the movie.
Yeah.
Which, that was also, shoehorn in. There was a lot of just like, it's this, no, it's this. And they didn't even explain that guy's madness. Like the fact that he was crazy. At the beginning, he was like, I was looking for a cure, but Pokemon are the cure. And then he's like, I'm Mewtwo, and I'm going to make everyone else a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, did Ditto die at the end? Sorry. Because it got knocked out of the building, like out of the window, and then it flew back like as a Pidgeotto or some bullshit.
Okay.
But then did it get killed after that is what I don't remember.
I couldn't
don't
tell you.
know, yeah.
With what you were saying, Dylan, I feel like there's like a certain amount of like flip-flopping necessary for like any kind of detective story where it's like, oh, you think it's this person, oh, it's like subverting your expectations.
I didn't
but
like that. I meant more the security footage thing pissed me off.
Yeah.
Not
No, I mean,
like the final thing. Sorry, not just like the police showing the footage and then showing it from all angles. I was like, how do you have that footage? That doesn't make any sense.
I was more referring to just you talking about the doctor obviously being the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was saying it was obvious. I didn't mind it that much. I
Yeah,
guess.
no.
Yeah,
It's
Sean has his hands up. What's going on?
Sorry, I have both my hands in the air because as Dylan and I were coming over here to record this podcast, I remembered that there was a Seinfeld reference in this movie that I wasn't the only one who laughed at because other people in the theater laughed at it behind me. And now I remember it. At one point, Pikachu says, "Serenity now."
Oh,
He does.
yeah.
Blatant Seinfeld
Totally.
reference.
Yes, I remember.
I think he says it to Psyduck. Probably. That would make sense in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, don't explode right now, Psyduck.
Oh,
Serenity
yeah.
now.
That is in the backseat of the car. He literally does make that joke.
Very good reference. Not like laugh out loud funny necessarily, but good job.
Very
Fun that
meta.
they put something
Yeah.
in there for the adult.
Very
Not as funny as
Ryan
when in
Reynolds.
Scott Pilgrim they just used the bass line from Seinfeld.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. You know.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Oh, thanks, man.
Like with the
Yeah.
sounds. Yeah.
I've been practicing. But yeah, there's a lot I respect about this movie, okay, as my like closing comments. I respect that it was faithful to the game mostly. I respect that it introduced us to a new city with a new setting and like new people, and I respect that it didn't have like a lot of Pokemon fighting in it, but there were teases of that. And I respect that it like had a lot of nods towards like old Pokemon and just like the Pokemon fandom. And it like obviously Brennan, like you brought up a lot of points in like different ways that they've sold out and stuff and like ways that it was shitty. But like I think in a lot of ways that we should like acknowledge, like it didn't sell out and it was good for what it was. But also like it's a somewhat like mediocre and dumb movie. Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I hear what you're saying. So I guess for my closing thoughts, I think they did the bare minimum it would take for this movie to be a Pokemon movie. And I don't think doing the bare minimum to hold on to the franchise you're trying to market counts as being faithful to it. And I think, like, it's cool that they did make references like throughout the generations that anyone who's been a fan of Pokemon, whether you're new or old, would understand. Like, it's fine. I think it's necessary and par for the course. But at the same time, I can't let it go. I can't let go the fact that they had the potential to do something interesting, but if they just had some tighter, less convoluted, like unnecessarily convoluted and punchier writing, better acting, better art direction, this would have been like a much greater success in my eyes, and it wouldn't have just been like a Ryan Reynolds fuckfest. Because that's what it kind of boiled down to.
That was like Deadpool 1, dude.
Yeah,
Ryan
well,
Reynolds fuckfest.
more or less. It's like this might as well be a fucking Deadpool movie because it's just Ryan Reynolds winking at the camera, and it's like, that's fine. I like that. I like Ryan Reynolds, and I like him winking. But it's like, come on, dude. Give me more. I wanted more, and I didn't get it.
Huh.
I have like one final thing to say, but Dylan, you can go.
I pretty much agreed with everything that Sean said as his closing thoughts. I also want to say that I just learned that it was, in fact, the original Pikachu voice who did the Pika Pika.
Nice.
It sounded
the 90s.
accurate.
Yeah, so shoutouts to Iku Otani. I don't know if that's how you say her name.
It invoked the correct feeling because people behind me and shit.
Yeah,
in the movie
dude,
theater
that
were
was like
saying, "Oh,
that was a nice moment.
There was a whole row behind us who were just screaming and squealing every time something cute happened.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And then I also want to once again shout out my boy Ken. Ken Watanabe, great.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
And then finally, I don't know if you
What's
guys
he
noticed.
in that you really like?
Huh? He was in. He was in Last Samurai. He was really good in that. He
Yeah.
was in. He was in Batman Begins. He was in Inception.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
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 The God.
Touche, Dylan.
Step to me,
Touche.
bitch. Also, did you guys notice that Diplo was in the movie? He was the DJ in the underground fighting
with all
thing.
the explodes.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, I do not know what Diplo looks
Yeah,
like.
I was like,
that's
is that
funny.
Diplo? Yeah, it's Diplo.
Should have been Deadmau5 with like a Pikachu helmet on.
Oh,
Holy
God,
shit,
that would've pissed me
Rattata helmet on. What could that be?
Yeah, so it was like a fun movie. I definitely wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't for us podcasting. Like, I didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
Same.
But am I glad I saw it? Yeah, kind of.
I feel the same way.
Like, it gave me the feeling a couple times, and that's all I could ever ask for in this life.
Oh, wow. It's the type of movie I would have watched on Netflix, but like 6 months after it got on Netflix.
Yeah,
Like,
I
not
kind of wish I
immediately.
just watched this on Netflix to
Yeah.
sate the curiosity that was built up by the trailer and all of the hype leading up to this. But, you know, whatever. You win some, you lose some.
So the last thing I want to say is arguably best part of the movie is the beginning of the end credits when they show all the imagery from like Pokemon Red and they have
Dude.
like cool images and shit.
That
Yeah,
was the
that was
only thing
very
I
cool.
liked in this
Right?
fucking movie was
Right.
when they transposed all of the characters into Pokemon
That
characters.
was awesome, yeah.
It was pretty cool.
It's like,
yeah.
oh, this is what I was watching.
And they had like cool art for it too, even like cool Detective Pikachu art, like him making different faces when the
Yeah.
director's name popped up and stuff. Anyways, arguably, I don't think this is arguable actually, worst part of the movie is when Detective Pikachu separates from Tim after almost dying, I think, and he starts singing the Pokemon theme song to himself.
It's like, how would you know that? Does the show
I think
exist in your world?
I think it might, because I think like the theme song plays like as non-diegetic, or is it diegetic, music in the environment of the movie. Like the Pokemon theme song
What?
plays, I think.
I didn't even pick
I don't
up
recall
on
when.
this.
I don't recall when.
Jesus.
But like, yeah, he's singing the words to the theme song, and I thought that was incredibly stupid. Even just the way it's done, it came off as like disingenuous.
He's like crying.
Yeah, he's like crying. He's like, I want to be the very best that no one ever was. To catch them all is my real test. Like, in this town, are they aware? I guess they're not technically in Rhyme City at that point, but like, are they aware of catching these Pokemon? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I thought like that part made me laugh for a second. I was like, wait, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
Yeah.
Anyways, so obviously we have a lot of differing opinions on this fucking movie.
Is this
and
our most divided Shonen Chumps podcast?
possibly? I mean, there was that one for that one anime that I said 0 words for because I hated it. so
Violet
much.
Evergarden?
Violet Evergarden.
Right.
God fucking damn it.
That was the one you hated and Dylan and I liked.
Yeah, literally said almost nothing on that podcast because I just my blood was boiling.
It's time for us to complete the cycle and I guess find something that Sean and I can agree on completely that Dylan hates.
right.
I think you guys liked Innocence more than I did.
Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, like 'cause I despised it. Like I ripped that one up.
Dylan,
Like,
that
it
movie
was-
was bad.
Okay, I'm
It was
glad.
fucking
Okay,
weird,
I'm
but
just trying
it
to
was
think of
good to look
something
at.
that like
I'm thinking. I really hope it's Evangelion.
Yeah, here we go.
That would be very
That would be
funny.
really fucking
Yeah.
good.
But like Brennan is like deep in the camp of like I fucking love Evangelion and it's like who I am. Like it's like part of you, right?
Yeah.
Dylan hasn't watched it, and I'm like, I think too many people like this show. Maybe it's not that cool. Like, you know, I'm like, I'm like the too many people walking down the street are wearing Yeezys, so I don't want to own a pair.
Oh
you know,
my
That's something
yeah.
Brennan said before we started recording.
Yeah.
Second time we've brought this up now. I wonder if I should just go on my Yeezy rant. Now
No,
we'll say that for
okay.
another
No.
day.
yeah. For the shoe podcast, Shonen Chumps. Anyways,
Well done.
yeah, thank you. So we want to hear what you thought about this Pokemon movie, of course, like we always do. So you can tweet at us at shonenchumps@gmail. Wait, no. You can tweet at us at Shonen Chumps. You can email us at shonenchumps@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook at Shonen Chumps. And you can listen to us on YouTube or SoundCloud or Apple iTunes Podcasts or the Google Play Store or Google whatever the fuck listen store, whatever the hell. Dylan?
Are you asking me to correct you, or
Yeah.
if I want to say something else?
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Google Play?
Yeah.
It's Google Play for music and like movie. This really
Yeah,
sounds like
because
an
it's
ad.
like Google,
right now. Whoops.
like play music, play movies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was not an ad, I promise.
Also, we haven't said this in a while, but if you want to leave us a review, that'd be kind of hot.
Oh yeah. Like I promised on this podcast that if you leave any 5-star review, I will read it.
I don't even
Or
think you said
no,
5 stars.
just
I think
any
I said
review.
I know you're right. Now I'm just calling out people to give us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice.
Yeah.
But don't feel pressured.
That's true. I will read literally anything you write in any sort of rating section on iTunes or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of you have been commenting recently, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, also, I mean, we've been pretty inconsistent with our podcast, but this one included, the last 3 have been pretty consistent. You might be wondering, are the Shonen Chumps back to regular programming? And we can say, no, probably not. But we'll try.
That's so
We
funny.
will let you down time and time again.
No. We'll be back soon, at least with One Punch Man season 2.
Yeah.
If not before then, we'll find out.
Maybe some other shit in between.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways,
All right, babies.
see you, Space Cowboy.
Bye. Why did I stutter? Goodbye. Bye.
Pika Pika.